Hi, welcome back to the Dave Palmer Show. And in this episode, I have a happiness coach, celebrity host, motivational speaker, corporate psychologist, #1 best-selling author, and your branding buddy. Her newest book is 8 Ways to Happiness from Wherever You Are. Dr. Marissa, aka the Asian Oprah. Welcome to the Dave Palmer Show.
Thank you, Dave Palmer, for inviting me. Happy to be here.
I'm very happy to have you here, and I'm happy that you're very happy that you wrote a book about happy that we're going to talk about soon. So very happy about that. But I'm very curious. How did you get to become known as the Asian Oprah?
So I was actually introduced to Oprah in person.
Wow. I know you.
The Asian Oprah by Michael Bernard Beckwith, who is one of Oprah's friends and Oprah's 100 lister, who is the founder of Agape International Spiritual Center. And he calls me his little sister. He's my big brother. And so when Oprah came to Agape, he was walking arm in arm with her, escorting her. They were going to take some pictures by the sign. And he saw me and he pointed at me and said, "That's the one they call the Asian Oprah." Or my memory's not perfect, either that or "That's who I call the Asian Oprah," or "That's the Asian Oprah." It was one of those three.
Oh, wow.
I was so like shocked and intimidated. And so when she looked at me and I'm like, and she looks down and she looks at me in the eyes again and says, "Nice pants." I had some sparkly pants. And it took everything, Dave, for me not to say, "Do you want them? Like, I'll give them to you right now." But I didn't say that. I just said thank you. So that was how I became, what's interesting, I won the 2014 one of those earlier years, I won the Asian Heritage Award. And they brought me on stage and they said, "And here is the Asian Oprah." And at that time, I was shocked. I'd never heard anybody call me that. And I thought the shoes were too big. So I didn't claim it. I did not use it. I was intimidated by the title. And so I didn't use it. And then when my big brother introduced me that way, the voice said, "Look, this is for you to use, not that you want to be her. She's a great role model." And people now, well-meaning people, sometimes more mean than well, will say to me, "You don't need to say that. You're Dr. Marissa. You're great in your own right. You don't need to use that moniker." And I just smile and thank them for their opinion that I didn't ask for. But basically, when I'm on the red carpet interviewing Halle Berry or John Travolta, they don't know who I am. They don't know who I am from a hole in the wall. But when I say, "This is Dr. Marissa reporting live from the Kodak Theater. You know me as the Asian Oprah," immediately they laugh. And it breaks the ice and it breaks the energy of, suspicion or discomfort. So it's a useful energy setter. So that's why I do it. And, she's done some amazing things. I credit her with bringing the whole concept of spirituality and hope. And, you don't have to be defined by your past pain. All of those lessons are valuable lessons. So I'm very proud to be known as the Asian Oprah.
Well, yeah, it means that you've done a similar kind of work to what she's done, really, in that sense, if that's how you've been dubbed. I mean, obviously, you say Dr. Marissa, so people will know you as Dr. Marissa Pye, is it? Or Pye?
Pay like money.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So, that's how I'm calling you, So, I mean, obviously, people do dub people, say, "Oh, yeah, well, that's the kind of... like that, it happens anywhere, in sports, in business, so it's like that. It's like in Philippines, we spoke about the Philippines, where obviously you had Trump going for the elections in 2016, but also in the Philippines, you had Duterte, who's now the president, and they dubbed him like the same as Trump. they said, all right, he's a Trump as well because of the way he's behaving and, you know, he's sort of saying certain
That's
things.
not a good thing. That's not a
That's
good
not a good thing, but unfortunately, he wasn't doing some good things at the time. He wasn't doing some good things. He said a few very notorious words, so that's why. But actually, it's not as bad. I mean, the only bad thing that they're really labeling for, it's more a human rights issue. It's not directly down to him, but it's the war on drugs and obviously the extrajudicial killings. But that happens in Mexico.
I was actually interviewed by Karen Davila on ABS-CBN when I was in the Philippines right before COVID started, and she's dubbed the Philippine Oprah. So on the same camera, we had the Philippine Oprah and the Asian Oprah. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, that's amazing. Wow. Well, anyway, it's great. It's great that we can reunite in, people that way.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of one for you. The Steve Harvey with an accent, or
we'll get there. We'll get there. The British version of someone. We'll get there.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you do your own talk show. Talking about that. So tell us about your own. I mean, you had a #1 podcast show. You've interviewed, like as you said, Hailey Berry and quite a few other A-list on your show. So I mean, really, you know, rightly so, you are a star in your own rights, really.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Tell us more about that.
I'm a B+ celebrity.
All right, that's better than me as a Z.
It's called B+ celebrity.
Okay, there you go.
So the name of my show is called Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It.
Right.
Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa. And I'm so grateful that this week, in fact, today, is my show on Fridays, prime time on my CNBC NBC News Radio channel, where it's syndicated. And it is going on 470 consecutive weeks on the air. So I don't know how many shows you've done, but you can relate on that's not an easy feat. And I'm coming on 9 years on May 7th.
This is 336, this one, I think.
Oh, wow. You're the closest in the number that I've interviewed.
In the numbers, yeah, but only a few stars. Only a few stars. You've had more than me, so there you go.
There's any person is a unique star.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't necessarily,
It's what you bring to it, isn't it?
Well, I don't bring people on. Like Fran Drescher did not come on. I didn't invite her to come on to talk about the nanny. I invited her because she has Cancer Schmancer, an organization that helps you prevent your risk of cancer. So that's why I have certain people on, and just because you're an A-lister doesn't mean you get on my show. You have to actually be doing something with your limelight to shine it on areas of darkness. Those are my favorite. And then I give them the Dr. Marissa Beneficial Presence on the Planet Award. So that's my show. Yeah,
absolutely. I suppose with Oprah, she did do a couple of controversial interviews. Obviously, the most famous one that's going around, still running around UK at the moment, is Meghan and Prince Harry. That's quite. Is it quite as popular in the US as it has been in the UK? It has been. Okay, yeah. So that's quite a huge thing.
Well, I mean, humans are funny people. We're attracted to, scandal, gossip, horrific.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It's just part of our silliness. But the silliness lends itself to seriousness for things and issues like mental health, which is a very serious
very serious, yeah.
So, but family dysfunction is old as life, right? So, exactly, and then the haves and the have-nots, and everybody has a right to my opinion, not. Right. So everybody wants to weigh in on stuff that they have no clue about or they don't have all the details about. And so that's why my show is about hope and happiness. There's no gossip, no scandal. Yeah. And I used to say there's no K words, no Kardashian talk, because I want people to be talking about meaningful things. I can't say that anymore, by the way, because Kim Kardashian is actually doing some really great things.
Yeah. She's studying law now, isn't she?
Pardon?
She's studying law, or she's a lawyer, or she's studying law.
Yeah, I'll take your word for it. But I do know Yeah.
All
I
right.
haven't
Okay.
been
Well, no,
really
she's more of an
taught that.
entrepreneur now. She's more, I mean, it's the business really that's making her the money, I think, so more
Yeah.
than
But
anything.
I
So,
mean, every person on the planet has value. Every person has a unique talent, gift, and ability that they are unleashing onto this thing called life. And if you spend time following people who really don't matter, that's time you'll never get back. So my, humble, less than humble advice all the time, that's why my show is called Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It,
yeah.
is, use your time wisely. Don't wake up in the morning and start doing this with your phone, reading about you fall into that quicksand,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? You like this, and then that shows this, and they show that if you watch Social Dilemma, it is a conspiracy. They want your attention.
The only time I do that,
Advertisers want your attention, right?
the, the only time, the only time I do that to my phone in the morning is to press the snooze button.
Yeah, I don't even plug my phone in near me because I
All
know
right.
myself.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
temptation to pick it up and start doing that.
Yeah. I know.
And
Yeah.
then I'll lose an hour that I'll never get back.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
it is so important for all of us who have abdicated. The most powerful tool in our life is called choice, is
Yep.
called attention, is called focus. And yet we just let ourselves go and whatever, squirrel, what's going on? This is happening, and then we lose sight of our own life and our own birthright to happiness. So I'm so excited. I actually have my first short film coming out.
Oh
It's going to
wow.
be
Okay.
on my 9th year anniversary show, and it's called The New PPP.
Right. Tell us about that then.
Pandemic, post-pandemic, post-pandemic possibilities.
Wow.
So
That's huge.
before we go back to normal,
Yeah.
right? Can we return not to the place where we were? Where we were before the pandemic in America was 1 in 4 Americans were on antidepressants and anti-anxiety medication. We had the plethora of people who hated their jobs and lived for their weekends, which is only 2 out of 7 days, by the way,
Yeah.
who didn't like the relationships they were in. They didn't like themselves, your primary relationship. So before we go back to normal, let's not do that. If I thought of it, I would have told you to play the trailer. But it's just getting released. And I'm so grateful. I woke up with the idea 4 months ago, practicing what I teach, which is how is creativity showing up in you on a daily basis, on a weekly basis? And this is a belief system about yourself that most of us don't have. Most of us wake up or have this voice at the end of the day that says, you should have done this, you shouldn't have done that, you can do better, why didn't you do better, how dare they insult me, and all of this negative crap that bombards us and drives our life car. And most of us who have that strong voice have been hurt as a child. 7 out of 10 of us, myself included, have had childhood trauma. 7 out of 10. My honorable moniker says 8 out of 10. Some psychologists say 93%. Hello, if we're the majority that have had childhood trauma, why the fork do we think there's something wrong with us? We're the majority. So pain in life has to have some meaning. There's a purpose. And what the book, why it's gone #1, is because I call this BS around brokenness. We're
so
not
tell us,
broken.
so tell us more about your new book, 8 Ways to Happiness from Wherever You Are.
So 8 Ways to Happiness from Wherever You Are is not a book written by a psychologist, which I am, to tell you how to be happy. It's exactly what I'm saying right now. It's coming from a place of someone who understands being beaten, who understands being called fat, ugly, and clumsy as a child, who knows and understands how we live in a society that sees us as needing being fixed. I'm not against therapy. I absolutely am I'm a coach, right? You have to deal with your past pain, but you don't have to suffer from your past pain. So pain in life is mandatory. Suffering is optional. But so many of us drag our past into our present that then projects on our future. So we think life sucks. There's one line in the short film that says, "Life does not suck." But
In the PPP film.
So many of us really believe that it does. And a large part, this was all hashtag BC19, the time before COVID. The time before COVID, it was not a great place to live. So when people are like, "Oh, I can't wait to get back to normal." Hello?
Yeah.
Wait. What was that normal? Do you really want to get to that place where you wake up in the morning, you hit the snooze button 5 times, then you rush to get ready, rush to get everybody else ready, you sit in traffic, hate it, get to work, make phone calls, miss meetings, get interrupted, get back in your car, come home exhausted, feed the kids, sit down and watch stupid TV, forget to floss, go to bed, and do this another, 50 days in a row, and then say, "Oh my God, is it Christmas already?"
Yeah. You missed that.
Really want to go back to that?
You missed out. Kiss the wife, kiss the kids, and kiss the dog, and go to bed. But anyway.
Exactly. Or you're so tired you don't even want to do that. You don't feel like doing that.
Exactly. Yeah.
So,
well, they were probably already asleep if you're overworked as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is an opportunity. I wrote an article that's published on Medium called COVID-19, an opportunity for your lifetime.
Right.
So truly, you can either say this was the worst year of my life. You still have time to say this is the best year of my life because I figured out that the buck stops right over here. And I am the love that I've always been looking for. That is the ticket. That is the center foundation of life. It's called unconditional happiness. Despite the conditions, I can choose happiness wherever I am, whenever it is. So that is a skill, Dave, that you have to use your muscles. It's a blissipline. That's from my big brother. Hashtag blissipline, right?
Yeah.
So you get up in the morning, instead of doing this on your phone, you take a bite of my gratitude sandwich.
Yeah.
So 8 specific things that you're grateful for. If you start your day like that, Dr. Wayne Dyer, he's on the other side with my dad, beloved teacher. He says 5, but if you're looking at the camera, I know you thought I was Swedish, but I'm actually Chinese. And
okay.
8 is the lucky number in Chinese.
Okay.
It's a synonym for good fortune.
That goes along with that saying, fall down 7 times, get up 8. That's a Chinese saying, isn't it? Fall down 7 times, rise up 8 or something. That's a Chinese saying. I'll have to Google it. I have to Google it again.
Yeah. So that's why I say 8 specific things that you're grateful for in the morning. And then at the end of the day, here's the ticket. This is the most important part. The gratitude is important, but appreciation for yourself. So most people, before they go to bed, they are thinking about who insulted me, how dare they, who I don't like, who doesn't like me, what I didn't get done, that critic. No wonder you can't sleep. No wonder we have problems sleeping. So instead, if you put the bottom of the bun in your gratitude sandwich and say, unconditional love for me. So in spite of the conditions, COVID, no COVID, divorce, no divorce, loss of job, no loss of job, what about me do I appreciate? I'm funny, I'm creative, I'm caring, I'm loving, and do 8 of those at the end of the day so that you can fall asleep, because you're falling asleep based on who you are. Now, I'm also critical, intolerant, and impatient, so I'm not perfect. I'm 88% fabulous. I want people to be 88% happy. I already told you why the 8, but why not 100%? Because if you're 100% happy, you're dead. I don't want dead people. All right? So 88% is also a prescription for perfectionists. Perfectionists are never happy. I'm a recovering perfectionist. I have a feeling you are with 300 and some,
Yeah, well,
right?
It can be hard work, as you probably imagine. It's more it's all the production side of it, really. I love hosting it.
Yes, but here's the thing: as a perfectionist, you're always saying, I'll be happy when. I'll be happy when 400 podcasts. I'll be happy when I have this in my bank account. I'll be happy when I have this in my, I'll be happy when I have this kind of relationship. You're never happy because no matter what, where you are, there's a dissatisfaction with life. The perfectionism, for me, I made this formula. Perfectionism equals the dis-ease of life. When you are not happy with life, you're a perfectionist. When you're a perfectionist, you're unhappy with life. So if you're a person right now who's listening, who says things like, I'm my own worst critic, I am no harder on anybody else than I am myself, there's so much more, I have to do better. If you're one of those people, I have 2 words for you. You ready?
Okay, go ahead.
Stop it!
Absolutely.
If you cannot approve of yourself, how the fork is anyone else going to approve of you? So this is the primary dis-ease that people are walking around with, is this self-unapproval. And when you have self-unapproval, you cannot approve of other people. And you're always looking at what's wrong with yourself, with others, with the situation. And that is a surefire way to spend your entire life being unhappy. So I'm on a Happy 88 mission, 88 million more happy people in the next 8 years. I started this with the book tour. That's why I was in the Philippines and in China. Okay. And then I got grounded, literally. So now I've taken to the airwaves, not just my show, but other people's shows, to try to splatter more hope and fulfill my mission. We're about at 6 million now.
Yeah.
Which is, it used to be 8 million is my goal, but that's, right. I'm almost there. So I had to make it 88 million because I'm a recovering overachiever. But yeah, so if you're interested in being part of that mission, go to drmarissa.life. Just put your email in the pop-up and you're going to get a free happy tip sheet. Yep. You'll be part of my Happy 88 family. And life is so short. I don't want unhappy people walking around. Why? Yeah. And I do this on every show. Peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace. We will never get to world peace if people are not fundamentally at peace with themselves. There's a beautiful African-American saying that says, when there is no enemy with inside, then no enemy outside can hurt you.
Yeah.
Isn't that powerful?
It's very powerful, yeah. Yeah. The enemy within. I mean, one topic I want to talk about before you go, Marissa, is that, I mean, you mentioned about African Americans, and then there was a lot been going on with the protests, and it still is, and obviously it's slightly big history being made with the historic court case. But, very disgustingly, we heard about these Asian hate crimes that lead into similarities of what's happening with Black people getting shot dead just like that. And I mean, you must know more about for a start. You're in the US. You're from the US. Secondly, and you're Asian American, so you know more than I do because I spent my whole life in the UK. I'm in Asia now, but I'm in Asia knowing what Asia's like. I'm not. I see it as it is. But there's prejudice there. It's obvious. There's some ignorant kind of stuff going on with, not just a protest, but with these kind of things. Can you tell me a bit more about the Asian hate that's going on in the US?
So actually, I've dedicated several shows. When George Floyd first was murdered, I had a special series with a beautiful friend of mine who's an actress and activist, Julio Graham, and it was a series called It's Not Black and White, or Is It? And we talked about all Black Lives Matter, why it's important to say Black Lives Matter and not jump to Blue Lives Matter or All Lives Matter quickly. Also, I brought Jane Elliott on, who was on Red Table Talk last year. She's a brilliant teacher, educator. She's the one, if you haven't watched it, go to YouTube and watch Class Divided, a PBS special. She's the teacher in Ohio that taught her kids how to discriminate. Yeah. And then I had a special series, I'm still in it, hashtag Stop AAPI Hate. And in fact, this week I'm having the CEO from Asian Americans Advancing Justice, who's very familiar with all these things. And we're doing graduate level school now because I had community members on talking about AAPI hate.
Yeah.
And all the things that are happening in Northern California and in New York. And then the graduate school level is, how can people of color help people of color? So we've talked about the white supremacy and whites against and the hate crimes and shooting blacks and shooting and beating up Asians. But we haven't really talked about how grateful we are. Everything happens for my divine and best good, as horrible as it may seem. So all of this Black Lives Matter has helped Asians talk about, put the moose on the table, which is I was actually born in Canada. So I say moose on the table instead of talking about the elephant in the room.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of mooses in Canadian.
Right, there are. So what we haven't talked about is there's a lot of criticism that people, Black Americans or African Americans, are the biggest perpetrator of Asian American hate crimes, and that's a lie. So the show that I'm doing today, she said that all the statistics and the media doesn't help because it shows the ones that they show over and over and over again are African American attacking an Asian American, when in fact it's less than 10%. And the predominant is white Americans attacking Asian Americans and African Americans. So we have a long way to go. Yesterday was the anniversary of the Watts riots, another big event in America. Right. And just understanding that right now, it's not a light switch. We're not going to end racism like a light switch. It's a process. Racism has been a process that was started consciously, and it's deeply embedded in our country. And I only credit him with one thing, but I do credit our past president with ripping off the Band-Aid that was covering an infection in our country of bigotry and hate and misogyny and all of that horrific festering infection and pus.
Yeah, he actually helped dig it all up. He elicited a lot of stuff.
There's a lot of stuff. Smooth waters above and sharks below. So at least now we know what we're dealing with. Capitol Hill was such an important wake up call. Anyone who says, I don't understand, I'm not racist and our country's fine. Look at how far we've come, blah, blah. Hello, our country was built on the backs of slavery. Hello.
Yeah. And in the UK as well.
Yeah. Exactly, in the UK as well. What part of this is okay? So we're, and it's a tough time. It reminds me of, I'm going to get in trouble for this. But it reminds me of, in The Wizard of Oz, when the Wicked Witch was, I'm melting. I mean,
I think I remember that, yeah.
Right? That's the sound we're hearing.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
It's there's people out there. It's really bringing out people who say, and I thought of this the other day. Again, I'm going to get in trouble for this. But Make America Great Again really says, make America white again. That's what it's saying. It's not it's Mawa. I mean, what, I got to put that moose on the table. What other way to see it is it, right? Tell me I'm wrong.
No, I mean, it came along with a lot of stuff he was doing, while he's making that statement, just before the elections, the first elections that he won, he's saying, I'm going to build a wall and ban the Muslims and this, the Mexicans are this. And obviously he said a lot of stuff during his term about, especially during coronavirus, about the Chinese flu. That's it. Yeah. And I think that actually must have aided more towards these kind of hate crimes.
Totally. I mean, I just love it when people don't take responsibility for their words. They say, "Oh, I have the amendment right to speak my mind. I can be brutally honest. I can say whatever." And then, you don't take responsibility. Yeah, you can say whatever you want, but take responsibility that you helped Capitol Hill happen, that you helped hate crimes against Asian happen. You helped George Floyd get killed because our country is so forked up around all of these major. Watch 13th. If you haven't seen 13th, yes, it's true. If you do the crime, you pay the crime. Okay, fine. But look a little closer, folks. Is the system broken that takes the crime? I mean, you can't win, right? In the system. You cannot win. It's $1 billion prison industry. Watch 13.
Yeah, I will. I'm going to make a note to Google and get it on YouTube as well. So
it's on Netflix, actually.
Oh, Netflix. Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
great.
Well, I've got Netflix, so I'll have a search for that as well. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant! It is so brilliant.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, Marissa, it's really been a great pleasure having you on the show, and I'd love to have you back again. We will, many topics that could come up. I'm sure you can talk about. At the moment, can you tell our listeners where they can find your book and also all the other great work you're doing?
Yes, thank you. drmarissa.life is my virtual home, but I would love you to free subscribe to my YouTube channel, which houses the 400 some shows and the red carpet interviews with Alan Berry and all of that good stuff. Also, I have a nonprofit, and this is one of the hashtag COVID silver linings. I never had time to do that, but I have a beautiful 501c called 8 Ways to Happiness, and it helps kids, teens, and young adults who have temporarily forgotten their birthright to happiness. So books and programs for them. So if you shop on Amazon, and I know you do, go to Smile Amazon, put in 8 Ways to Happiness, and every purchase is the same price of whatever you're buying, but Amazon gives a little portion. And if you donate $25 to 8 Ways to Happiness, you get my free children's book, Mommy What Are Feelings, which was illustrated by my daughters when they were 5 and 7. So see that. And every feeling has a taste, touch, sight, and sound. So this is scared.
Wow.
And then the book, 8 Ways to Happiness, you can get it on Amazon. You can get it at Target, in Walmart, in America. You can get it anywhere. But if you want a signed copy, just go to drmarissa.life. And today, for your listeners, Dave Palma's listeners, the gift is if you buy a book, either the audio book, which I narrate, or the hard copy, which I sign, then I'll gift you a free children's book, The Mommy What Are Feelings, as $1.25. So those are my offers that I would love to extend to your listening audience. And I, just love yourself 88% of the time. That's how we're going to make things better. If you're not loving yourself 88% of the time, there's exercises in this book. No picture. Well, there's one picture, but there's exercises that I promise if you do the excavation work, if you shovel out all of the shiitake in your life, find the seed and pour it back as fertilizer, if you do all those exercises, you will never hate yourself the same way again. So that's why the book is valuable. I'm not trying to sell the book as the book, even though part proceeds go to Habitat for Humanity, which is a great nonprofit here, but it's for you. I want you to be happy 88% of the time. I know who you are. And if you can't find the love for yourself 88% of the time, I am holding that for you until you can.
Great. Fantastic, Dr. Marissa. And anyone listening, you can also, when you finish listening to this, at any time, go through the show notes, and Dr. Marissa's website will be at the bottom of the show notes as well, which will be www.drmarissa.life. Excellent. Well, Dr. Marissa, it's been a great pleasure having you on the show. And as I said, I'd love for you to come back again at any other stage.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, really enjoyed this. Really enjoyed this. Well, in the meantime, everyone, do you listen out for the next episode? But for Dr. Marissa, thanks once again for coming on the Dave Palmer Show.
Thank you.